na na na. Family goes, oh na na na. Oh na na na. Come kick it with the Casey's. All that love and all those babies. C-A-S-C-Y. Welcome to their lives. Welcome. C-A-S-C-Y. DJ Envy and Gia, oh oh. It's time to kick it with the Casey's. You're tuned into the Casey crew.
What up, y'all? It's DJ Envy.
And I am Gia Casey.
And this is another edition of the KC Crew.
Welcome. Hello, beautiful people.
Yes, welcome back. And I just want to say we appreciate you guys. I say it each and every week. Now, if you don't know, you can pre-order our book right now, Real Life, Real Family. We talk about raising our kids and family dynamics and everything included in it, from our oldest being 23 to the youngest being 3. We talk about traditions and things we do in our family to keep our family together. So if you haven't pre-ordered the book, definitely go to Abrams. I think it's abrams.com. The link is right here. Esther, put the link here. Well, the link's in the bio, but he'll show you where to go right here. And definitely pre-order the book right now. And we appreciate you guys hitting us up on the email, thekcrew@gmail.com. or leaving comments, hitting us up in the DMs. We see everything, so thank you so much, all right? Now, today's show, I want to talk about the past of people, your past, my past, everybody's past. And I want to talk about how the past reflects a relationship, right? So if somebody does something in the past, how does that look in your future in a relationship? And you're probably saying, Envy, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm going to break it down. So if you're dating somebody and they were a stripper, and they were an escort, and they were a drug dealer, a scammer, a thief, somebody that shot people, how does that affect your relationship and how you looked at them? Do you still date that person? Would you want to date that person? Is it a no-no? Let's talk about body counts. If they had a bunch of body counts, 20, 30, 40 dudes, 20, 30, 40 girls, is that okay with you? Can people change? So let's start with there. What are your thoughts on it?
I think that a person's past decisions definitely informs my opinion about who they are today. That doesn't mean that people don't change. I do believe that people can change. More often than not, something significant has to happen in their lives in order to affect change. Not all the times, but like I said, more often than not, that's been my experience. When someone goes through something as a consequence or something life-changing as a result of the bad decisions that they've made, they typically tend to be more likely to be on the path of change. But everybody doesn't change. And if I think that you show signs that you are the same as or similar to the person that you were, then I'll know whether I want to be a part of your life or not.
Yeah, when it comes to change, I do feel that people can change and people do change, right? We all do things that we did that was stupid, maybe when we were younger, maybe when we were in our 20s, maybe when we were in our teens. And when you get to an age, you realize how stupid those things were. And you realize how stupid those decisions can really impact your life. So for me, it's like, which is the weirdest thing, I'm more likely to forgive, forget, or even date, if I wasn't married, somebody who's done certain things but not the other. Meaning, if you were a stripper, if you were an escort, if you have a wild amount of bodies, I couldn't deal with you. But if you were a scammer, a drug dealer, or a shooter, I'm more likely to deal with you.
Murderer, person with a high sex drive.
I didn't say murderer. I said shooter. And
Shooter, oh, he wounded you, but didn't take your life.
Yes. I'm going to tell you the reason why, right? We all know somebody that has sold drugs before.
No, we all don't, actually.
Have anybody sold drugs before?
I said we all.
Oh.
Wait, who do I know that sold drugs before?
There's a lot of people. You probably don't even know, but yeah, you know.
I'm bugging. Yes, I do know people that have sold drugs before.
Right, exactly. And there's, well, I don't want to blow them up in the spot, but yes, there are a lot of people that have sold drugs before. We all know one person, even if they sold one dime bag of weed, we know somebody that has done it, right? And the crazy thing is, when we were younger, it was against the law and it was looked down upon. But now, if that same person sells that same bag of weed, it's a dispensary and it's okay. So when I say people do change, if somebody's selling drugs They get caught, they do jail, they come back. That's easier for me to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
If they shoot somebody, let's say they get into a fight and a shooting happens, nobody dies, they get wounded. It's understandable.
But someone could have died.
But I'm going to tell you why.
So you could have been a murderer. Like if your arm was an inch up or an inch down. So the intent of shooting in a public space is still the same.
It's stupid. But
no, it could be murderous.
It could be, but
stupid. You just classify that as stupid.
It could be, and you could have made a dumb
mortally wounding somebody.
Yeah. All right. Well, look at me, right?
Making someone paraplegic.
All right. No, you're right, and it is stupid.
Stupid. I think that a lot more weight on it than stupid.
Not necessarily. Look at me. I was a hothead, right?
Yes.
Could you have seen me get into an incident with somebody where I used to carry a firearm from the age of 21? Well, I still carry a firearm.
You still carry a firearm.
Yeah, but at 21, I got my firearm. Mm-hmm. I got my legal gun at 21 from Virginia.
Yes.
Right? I was a hothead. Mm-hmm. I don't think I was mature enough to own a pistol at 21.
You were not.
So if I got into an incident and something happened and I shot somebody that was trying to do something for me, I'm not that same person as I was at 21. I'm more mature. I'm more grown. So that's what I'm saying. So, but I could have still shot somebody. Now, do you judge me for who I was at 20 and not who I am now at 30?
I understand what you're trying to say, but I would definitely take that into consideration if you killed somebody.
I didn't say kill anybody.
But there's no...
You can't move the goalpost.
No,
I don't
shoot,
injured.
I don't think that's the moving of a goalpost. I think that if you aim and shoot, the intention to harm is there. Whether the person dies or not, it could have gone either way. So in my opinion, you might as well have killed them if you shot them in the chest. Whether they passed away or not, it could have gone either way. You flip a coin, you could have been a murderer or you could have just...
Right. But that's how life is a lot of times.
You're talking about how... I'm looking at it, in my opinion, from a reasonable perspective. So whether the person died or not, your intention was to harm them.
Correct.
And you couldn't have, you wouldn't know if you killed them or if you were going to kill them or not. So the intention doesn't change. So who I look at you as a person as doesn't change.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying.
Do you see what I'm saying?
But
I will say that people do grow and people do mature. You were definitely too immature to have a gun at that time.
Correct.
And I could easily see a situation have gone the wrong way.
Yeah, many times.
Because I know that you would have protected yourself at all costs. So thank God you were never in that position. So using you as an example, I do understand what you mean by a person can change and mature and evolve. Yes. So I could separate a 21-year-old versus a 40-year-old. Yes.
See, but and that's what I'm talking about changing, but certain things I can't change. If you were, and this is just me, so salute, I know strippers do watch, and I know escorts do watch, whatever. The reason I couldn't, what? The reason I couldn't is not because...
Hi, guys.
The reason I couldn't is not because I'm embarrassed by what they did if I was dating him. My insecurity wouldn't allow me to.
What do you mean?
Because if I go out with you, I'm always looking at it like, damn, he probably fucked. Damn, he probably took her out. Damn, he probably smashed. Damn, he seen her naked. And that would bother me. My insecurities would bother me more, and it would really mess the relationship up.
Ooh, this is very interesting.
But that's what it would be. So if I'm walking around with my girl that used to be an escort or that used to be a stripper or that has mad bodies, and there's nothing wrong with that. Whatever. If you want to have sex with you're fluent with your sex, whatever it may be, that's you. But it would bother me because every time I go out, I would be looking to see who's looking at you.
Okay, so let me pose it this way. Well, first, let me clarify, and then I'm going to pose it a different way.
Sure.
So you wouldn't care about how many bodies a woman had. You wouldn't care. She could have been an escort. She could have just had a really high sex drive. She could have been getting it in every week.
Yeah.
You wouldn't care.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say...
Well, I would care, and I'll tell you the reason why.
Okay. I mean, you wouldn't care. You wouldn't care based on what it is for face value. Mm-hmm. You would only care because you'd be worried about how many people had a piece of her when you were out in public.
Being honest, yeah.
So that's the only thing you would care about. You wouldn't care if a girl had 50 bodies at the age of 35.
It depends. See, now this is where it happens, and this is where I try to. I'm not. Of course, we're not in that situation. But if you meet somebody,
You mean I didn't have to be such an angel for all of these years?
No, I'm not saying that.
I feel like I missed out on a lot.
I'm not saying that. This is what you got to listen to what I'm saying. If I'm dating somebody I'm 34. So if I'm dating somebody at 34, right?
Why do you have to be 34? Why can't it just be 35?
Okay, if I'm dating somebody at 35, right? And this person has matured, right? They leveled up. They had a past where they wilded out in college and went on a fucking spree, like a lot of women do. You hear it all the time. I went through my whole phase, but now this person is smart, intelligent. She's fun to be around. Totally changed. Totally a different person. A boss. Somebody that upgrades you and puts you to a different light. I can see myself saying, well, the past is the past, if that was the case. But I couldn't say that because only thing I would think about is, damn, I wonder if Bobby hit. I wonder if Mike hit. I wonder if Ronnie hit. I wonder if...
Can you just have an agreement with her? Like, listen, if we're ever at a party or out to dinner, if you hit anybody in this restaurant or in this club, can you just let me know?
How would that conversation go?
Just like that.
They'd be like, hey, see him? Yeah. See him? Just a little... See him?
Yeah.
In the butt.
Yeah.
See,
I mean, it would be easy because you don't mind. You already told her that you don't mind because she's changed and she's leveled up and upgraded you. Right? So...
I would mind because I'm insecure.
So... I feel like it's not connecting then. It's not just...
I'm not saying it's right. I'm just telling you what...
It's not just the people that might be in a public space amongst you, right? It's the fact that she had mad bodies.
Yeah. So maybe it's both. I don't know what I'm saying.
I don't know what you're saying either.
But I'm trying not to be judgy from the past, but I am judgy because it would affect me. Like, all right, when I look at your vagina, right? I know besides me and the gynecologist, that's the only person that's seen the vagina.
My mom saw it.
And your mother.
Yeah.
And your dad when he changed you as a little girl.
Yeah.
That's it. And I'm fine with that. And I'm happy with that. I know that nobody could be like, a vagina looks like this. Right? When I look at your ass, I know.
Okay. All right.
But that's my point. When I go outside, I don't have to feel like, see, Ricky, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike, I love the girl who cares for you. Like, I don't have to worry about that. But that's why I can say I can move on with a scammer, a drug dealer, a shooter, opposed to that.
That's not really what you said. You said that you'd be fine with that.
No, I said I couldn't because I'm too insecure.
No, you said that you'd be too insecure, but that's not really what you
I know,
meant.
but now I'm thinking about it now that you're asking me. I'm like, I wouldn't be fine with it. But I thought that, you forgive somebody or not forgive somebody, but you forget somebody's past at 20 and 25. But then I'm thinking about it. I'm like, nah, B, I just couldn't. I couldn't be my thing.
So you'd be okay, literally, if a girl was 35 with 50 bodies. Just forget about the rest of the world. Forget about being out in a public space. It's just you and her isolated. Just the two of you in a bubble. How would you feel about knowing that a woman had that many bodies?
Now you want me to think.
Like, forget about, like, you don't have to worry about anybody being able to say that they've been with your girl or, like, forget about, let's take that out of it. How would you just actually feel about that?
Yeah, I would feel away.
Yeah, because I was literally sitting here like, yo, who am I sitting next to? This isn't the man that I know.
Yeah, I would feel away. Yeah, you would have mad dicks in you. Yeah, I would feel away. I would feel away. Yeah, I would. But back to what I was saying.
I mean, that's what we were saying.
Yeah, so, yeah, I would feel away. And I would feel away, yeah, I guess I am judgy. No, I am.
What made you think otherwise, honestly? Like, you sitting here just trying to be...
No, because you want to think about...
Because that sounded wholly unlike you.
No, because you want to think about forgiving and growing and involved in it. And people do make mistakes, but you don't make 50 mistakes. Like, that's a lot of mistakes.
Okay, what if it was 28? Like,
28 mistakes is a lot of mistakes. That means you was...
And hold on. Don't be presumptuous. Because that girl may not look at it as mistakes. She could look at it as, I was living my life.
That's fine.
I was single. I was experiencing different things. I was trying different things out. And as long as she did it safely and honestly, and by safely, I mean not putting anybody's health at risk, protecting herself, not telling anyone that she's exclusive to them when she isn't and she's out sleeping with other people. If you're honest and you are safe, listen,
Yeah,
it is your life and you are not to be judged. So you can't presume that they're mistakes.
If I was a woman, I would lie. Yeah, I'm thinking about it now. I wouldn't tell no man my body count.
Absolutely not. I mean, I would, even though I'd feel that way, I wouldn't share it.
Oh no, I wouldn't tell.
I wouldn't share because then you do run the risk of being judged. But what if he asked you? See, now if someone asked me, would I lie? No, I see that. Then I'd have I have an internal conflict because I wouldn't feel, if I owned it, then I wouldn't feel good lying about it. I would feel like if my truth isn't good enough for you, then you're not the one for me. I wouldn't lie.
All right, now would you date an escort?
A male escort?
Mm-hmm.
You mean who was an escort in the past?
Of course.
I would not.
Well, what if they change and they say, I'm not that person anymore. I did it because it was a hard time. My mother had cancer. I had to pay for chemo. This was my way to get the money to pay for chemo. I'm not proud of that life, but I'm telling you because I love you and I trust you.
You shouldn't trust me. That was your mistake.
So if I tell you I was an escort before I met you.
At 14, that's the type of life that you were on. The type of time you were on.
Yeah. 14, I was an escort.
You're just so hard up for money. You just had to make those points come together.
I wanted them Reebok pumps.
Okay, so let's say we met later in life.
Right, correct. And I was an escort.
And you told me upon me meeting you,
yes,
you wouldn't have a chance with me.
Damn.
You wouldn't have a chance with me. And listen, let me explain something.
I'm listening.
I have a way that I go about living my own life, right? Because I own it. Mm-hmm. It is mine. It does not mean that I judge people for their lives and their decisions. And it's not as though I think that my decisions are better. It's not about better or worse. It's really a nod to that saying, different strokes for different folks.
Mm-hmm.
I've only ever been with you.
Mm-hmm.
So if when we met, even if we met later on in life, if you had, as we put it, mad bodies, I would think to myself, he's just not the one for me. I want someone that is closely, I know it's not, I know it would be almost impossible to find someone that, but then again, that's not actually realistic. Because if I met you later on in life,
you have
I would definitely have had some relationships, right? And I wouldn't have a zero body count at 27, let's say. Do you know what I mean? But it would have been low. It would have been very, very low just because I know me. So I would want to be with someone that is relatively as selective as me.
I get it.
You know, who looks at life and sex and love and intimacy similarly to the way that I look at sex and life and love and intimacy. So if your life view when it comes to those things isn't similar to mine, you just might not be the person for me. It doesn't mean that I'm judging you or I think any less of you. You just may not be the person for me. That's all. But I listen, I also think that there's something to say about being with a good number of people before you settle down and make that decision to have a life partner as well. You know what I mean? So it's not a better or worse thing. It's just a who are you at your core type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, I mean, I would love to hear what you guys have to say. You can email us, thekcrew@gmail.com, leave a comment. But you're right. I think things judge it. There's a lot of people that it doesn't bother, and respect to them. But thinking back at it, it just couldn't be me. The other stuff is more forgivable for me, which is crazy. It sounds crazy.
But why is it more forgivable?
Because
it's not forgivable is not even the right word. Who are you to forgive somebody for something that they didn't do to you?
Correct.
Maybe understandable.
It's understandable, and I think it's more understandable because this is gonna sound crazy. But I know more people that's been through those type of things.
You know a lot of people with high body counts. Like, what are you talking about? What are we talking about?
Yeah, but I'm not. It's a little different, right? And I'll explain to you why it's a little different. I know people that sold drugs.
Mm-hmm.
I know people that stole before.
Mm-hmm.
I know people that have done crimes before. A lot of times they did it when they were a lot younger, and them as a person has changed. And I understand
Yes.
that, and I can see that. The other stuff is, I think it affects me more. It affects my mental more. If I'm dating somebody that stole before, I don't think they're gonna come and steal my stuff. If that's the case, I wouldn't date them. You know what I mean? You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, you're talking about, okay, a woman that has
Yeah,
stolen.
woman stole
Okay.
before. Or if I'm dating somebody that has got into an incident shot, that's just how I think. I mean, I guess I should have one eye open, but I don't know.
Okay. It also depends on what kind of thief are you? Like, did you go into someone's house and steal someone's personal belongings?
Mhm.
I've known people that have stolen before
Mhm.
who I know people, no, not know. I know people who are in very, very high places in their lives right now, who as teenagers, young adults, 20 somethings stole regularly. And it's so interesting when you hear their stories. You know, I know one person that was kind of like a kleptomaniac. Now, all of these people, all of the people that I know have stolen from stores. Or as when we were younger, you know, they would be called boosters, like,
Mhm.
oh, like I boosted whatever.
Yeah.
And these are girls from all walks of life, of many different nationalities, people that you would never expect. And to me, I look at them differently than someone that would walk into someone's home and steal from someone's home, steal
Mhm.
from someone personally. And not that this is right, it's not right, but a lot of people feel like, oh, stealing from a store, it's nothing. Like
I mean,
you're
it's
stealing from a
yeah, it's still
store. You're
foul.
not,
It's
it's
still
not,
horrible.
of course, it's still wrong. You're still a thief. You're
Mhm.
still taking something that doesn't belong to you, but they look at it as differently. Um, but I look at it differently in the sense that if you stole from someone's house, you can't come to my house because, and that's what I said earlier, bad decisions that people may have made informs, it can inform who they are at their core, you know, like where you still have like negativity, like knocking
Mhm.
at your door. You may still have that impulse to steal, someone who has been violent in the past. I know a girl that used to be violent,
Mhm.
and one day that violent side of her met me. And from that day forward, I ended our friendship because, hold on, you said, what does that mean? One day we got into an argument and she posed herself as potentially violent towards me. And I already knew that she had a violent past.
Mhm.
And at that point, I drew the line. I said, we cannot be friends anymore because I can't be in your presence and have to worry about my safety. That's not how I choose to live my life. So I ended that friendship. So when people are naturally inclined to do certain things, to do negative things, yes, I would be concerned about how that could affect my life.
Mhm. Yeah. I get what you're saying, and it's still easier to move on with somebody that does this than does that for me. It's just the way that I see things in life. It just is what it
You know
is.
why I think that is for you, though? I think that because, you know, you grew up in Queens, I grew up in Brooklyn, and then I moved to Queens. I think we've both seen people
More of that with
that,
friends, yeah.
yeah, you know, people, whether they're friends or whether they're acquaintances, whether they're people that live on your block or 3 blocks away, people you went to school with, whatever. So I think that you understand that these people are people and that they can be nice people that just dabble in bad things.
I agree.
So it might be a little bit more relatable to you. It might be a little more understandable to you. I get it and I get where you're coming from, but I don't think that that distracts from the fact that a person is constantly engaging in something negative without concern about the consequences that it has on other people.
Mhm.
So that looks like poor judgment to me.
Mhm.
And if you're in my life, then I do have to be concerned about how your poor judgment can show up for me in my life.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
we look at it differently, but we'd love
Do we
to.
look at it differently?
A little bit. A little bit. We'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Leave a comment and all that. And before we get to pillow talk, I just want to salute to all the women out there, right? I doubted you guys a lot, right? I watch you women struggle with your high heels on, going to the club and your feet hurting and you're holding it down, right? I even seen it this weekend, right? We was somewhere, Mercedes was with me and she had to walk far and she's walking and her feet hurt. I guess maybe her shoes were too small, whatever it may be. And she wanted to take her shoes off so bad, right? And I say, yo, take your shoes off. She goes, what we gear do? What we gear do? What we gear do? Right? And she walked with her shoes on. And I just want to salute you women that are out there.
True story.
Because I realized I'm not built for it. So just to tell you, I had to do a gala over the weekend. Salute to Lincoln Tech, a trade school that endorses me and sponsors me. And I do everything for our friends over at Lincoln Tech. Salute to Tina. And I had my hard bottoms on. And I like the style of not wearing socks. I like the sexy, whatever this is called. Ankle, whatever. Calf. It's not calf, but you know what I mean. And I didn't wear any socks. And when we walked to the gala, I was fine. But then when we got there, the back of the shoe rubbed off my skin. And I'm still fucked up. Like when I say, look.
You gonna show them?
I got a bandage.
Take it off. Show them.
But when I say...
Let me help you. Oh, wait, come here. I'm gonna help you because he... Now you see what we women go through.
That is raw. When I say raw, I put Neosporin on it every day and a Band-Aid. And when I put sneakers on, it hurts to the point where it's so bad that any sneaker that I put on, I have to tie tight. So if you see me with sneakers, and usually my sneakers are loose, they're super duper tight. One is tight, one is loose. And the reason it's tight is it can't move. So you know when you walk and your foot comes up and down and your sneaker is cool? That shit will make me cry.
You know what that is? Karma. Y'all remember the fun that he was making of me when we went to the city and I had on those shoes and he said that I was complaining and I had to walk slow and all the extra sauce that you put on the story when my foot was hurting? You remember?
Nope.
Do you remember that podcast?
I don't remember.
We're talking about the trip to the city right before Christmas and you didn't want to be out there doing the scenic things in the city and whatnot. And my poor foot was hurting because I had on a new pair of shoes and the back of my foot was rubbing on the inside of my shoe.
It didn't look like this.
And you thought it was funny?
It didn't look like this.
You thought it was funny, right?
This looked like I got shot.
Well, sometimes God has to take things to the extreme so you can understand the plight of others.
Then they say, let's go look at the tree. Okay. The tree is 9 blocks away. Now, this is not...
Is it 9?
Yes. This is not... Or 8 blocks away. Now, this is not small blocks like you're used to. This is large blocks, right? The kid's like, let's drive. I'm like, you can't drive. It's Christmas and it's holidays in the city. We have to walk. Okay. So now we're walking, right?
Did anyone complain?
Yes. Me.
Oh.
So now, of course, the baby doesn't want to walk. So now the baby's on my shoulder. So now my shoulder hurts the whole time. And then Gia, what happened to Gia was so delightful. Say what happened. So Gia wore short socks. Gia had boots on. You and I both know if you're walking for a while and you have short socks and you have boots on, the back of the boot starts to rub in your heel. Her heel was on fire. Yeah, her heel was on fire. Right? So now she's done. She halfway don't want to walk anymore because she's like, fuck this shit. But she can't because she already promised the kids, we got to go see this tree.
I will endure the pain. It's quite all right.
Well, salute to all you ladies out there because it's been 3-4 days and it's still like I have to tie my shoe where it doesn't move. I didn't put tissue back there to try to comfort it. Band-Aids.
What, you needed comforting?
Yes. A&D ointment, whatever. It feels like a bullet.
A&D ointment does not work. I keep telling you, it's Neosporin. Why do you try to put A&D ointment on? He puts A&D ointment on anything. That is for diaper rash.
Oh.
That is for diaper rash.
Or maybe that's why I started healing.
That's your first problem.
Whatever's in Peyton's room, I just put whatever I put on her butt, I put on my foot.
Diaper rash ointment on his wound.
Well.
You need Neosporin.
All right. Well, salute to you ladies out there. Now let's get to pillow talk.
What's in, what's up, what's down? Who's trending? I wanna know now. Can we talk? Can we pillow talk now? Can we talk? Let's pillow talk now.
Now, this week's Pillow Talk, I want to discuss what's going on in LA, the LA wildfires. I mean, it is horrible what is going on. So many people have lost their homes, have lost their valuables, have lost their pretty much their life and everything that they've ever had and ever owned. I think right now, while the time this podcast is will air, I think like 24 people have passed away. And I just wanted to talk about that for a little bit, right? Some of the people that, celebrities that have lost their homes are Keisha Cole, Tina Knowles, Paris Hilton, Ricky Lake, Janae Aiko, just to name a few. And I see people talking about some of the people that have money and say, "Oh, who cares? You guys can go buy another house." This is not the time for that. And the reason I say that is it doesn't matter if you're rich, if you have a $30 million house, if you have a $5 million house, or you have a $100,000 house. It's still something that you worked hard for. It's still something that you had everything for. And when you put things into perspective, right? And a lot of these people didn't have time to say, you know what, we're going to pack and go. The way that those fires were happening and those ambers were flying all over the place and just catching fire on things, a lot of times people only had 20 minutes, an hour to get the fuck out. So could you imagine what can you grab in 30 minutes? If somebody said you have to get out of this house in 30 minutes, what are you grabbing? There's really not much you can grab. What's the first thing you want to grab if you have to go?
My photos.
Your photos. I thought you were going to say your bags or your shoes. I thought for sure
you thought I was going to say my bags or my shoes?
I was going to punch you right in your eye. Yes, I thought you were going to say, because you love that stuff.
I mean, I do love that stuff. But those are things that are replaceable. All of the actual photographs of me and my mother, or me and Madison and Logan when they were first born before the iPhone, everything post iPhone, I can retrieve. That's not an issue. But everything pre iPhone, those are 4x6. I took my reel of film to Costco and dropped it off and had to go a few days later to pick up my 4x6s. Those can't be replaced. All the pictures of with me and my mom, all the pictures of me as a child, my brother as a child, my father. My father passed away before I think an iPhone was even thought of. So all of those, that's the first thing that I'm grabbing. And then after that, once I got all of that out of the house, and that would be a lot because I have a whole library filled with photo albums. I'm a photo album person. I would take probably the full 30 minutes to get all of that out of the house. And then after that, I would probably just grab my jewelry because it's small enough to grab and contain. The bags and shoes would have to burn.
Yeah, so people were talking about they didn't even have time to grab a lot of that stuff. Like people couldn't grab photos. So when that house burned down, they have no memories of their parents, their grandparents. Well, not physical memories, but the actual pictures. Like you can't show your kids, hey, this is what grandma looked like, or this is what great grandma looked like, or this is what your uncle looked like. Like all that stuff is gone. Which is very, very sad.
Hopefully for some of these people, they have other family members that also have photos.
Yeah. And then not only that, a lot of people didn't have fire insurance. So now their house won't be covered.
Let me ask you a question though. With all of the brush fires that take place in California, it's not odd that people wouldn't prioritize fire insurance?
Well, the problem is...
What do you know about that?
The problem with this is a lot of the insurance companies... So insurance companies, if you don't know, base a lot of their quotes on what happened in the past, right? What happened 10 years ago, 20 years ago, what happens in repetition. What they were able to do a couple of months ago was they seen how dry California was. And I think they knew it was a matter of time. So a lot of these companies canceled, I think they canceled 70,000 people's fire insurance because I think they seen it was coming, which I don't think it's fair, which I think the government has to step in and actually help people because those people are not covered. So they lose everything as far as today.
So these aren't necessarily people that didn't have fire insurance or never got fire insurance. These are people that had fire insurance and then it was canceled.
It was canceled at one point. Or what they do is a lot of times if you ever live in like a flood zone, to get, like, for instance, if we have flood insurance, it might cost us $1,000 a year, right? Because we don't live in a flood zone.
Right.
But now if we live in a flood zone, It could be 15,000 a year.
It'll be more. Okay.
It could be, depending
More
on the
than
size of
that.
the house. And a lot of people can't afford that.
Yeah.
Because if you look at flood zones and zones that are usually more impacted, they're usually houses that are a lot less expensive, because usually those are the people that have to live there, because those are cheaper houses. So a lot of people can't afford it. So a lot of people are losing everything. And then there are people that their houses were saved. Like I said to you the other day, I was like, what does that really mean? If you have the only house on a block that looks like destruction, you can't live there. It's not like the insurance company be like, you know what, come back in a year, we'll pay your mortgage. No, they want you to go back and live in that house. How do you live there? How do you breathe in that area? There's no schools in that area. So LA is pretty damn bad. And they're saying that they believe that people are actually arson, like really people have started the fires. Which you have
Burning their own homes.
Yeah, or just burning just to see the destruction and all that. But you got to be a sick motherfucker to do that, because you see what's going on. And the fires is so dry in LA, the fires are catching on so fast that some of these fires weren't contained and still not contained. They're still burning now, which is crazy. And we know so many people that had to evacuate and had to leave. And, our kid's godmother, Will, she had to evacuate her crib. And, our kids' other godparents, they live in Studio City, and, they haven't had power for a couple of days. Like, it's very scary. So we just wanted to salute to everybody that listens and watches and views us on the West Coast, and just say, we're praying for you, and that, we wish you the best. But the government's going to have to step in and really help those people. The government, just like they helped the automotive industry a couple of years ago, just like they're going to help these insurance companies, it's cool to help the companies, but they got to help the people.
Now, when
you
say that they have to help, right? Are you saying that from a point of view that you don't think that insurance companies are going to do what they're supposed to do?
I don't think they can.
So that's what I was wondering.
I don't think they can.
We have insurance, we pay our insurance.
Mm-hmm.
There haven't been too many instances where we've ever had to use our insurance. One time in our previous house, we had a situation with the roof. They fixed the roof, right?
Mm-hmm.
There might have been one other situation where they had to fix something, but we've never had to take advantage of the insurance that we had.
Right.
But I wonder how much money in damage are they saying? How many billions?
I don't know.
Okay, well, the damage is in the billions.
Yeah, of course.
Right. So I wonder if insurance companies are required to have a reserve in the worst case scenario.
I don't think they can.
They can, because, and I mean, listen, you guys have car insurance. You may or may not have home insurance. You pay your entire life. And the amount of times that you need to call upon your insurance, for some people, it's never. You pay car insurance every single month. And we all have known people that have never gotten into an accident. So it's like a money suck, but it's exactly what it's called, insurance. In case that thing does happen, it's going to be paid for. So when you say they can't, I feel as though they can.
They definitely.
They've been paid so much money over probably centuries, right? And maybe not centuries, but certainly decades, maybe a century, at least, these insurance companies. How do you not have the money to pay out? Because the times that you've actually been called upon to pay have been so few and far between. That's why they always say, like, insurance companies are a scam. A lot of people feel that way. A lot of people don't have insurance for that reason. So my question is, are they required by the government to have a reserve? So in the worst case scenario, like what's going on right now, you have enough money to pay these people. Even if they do, let's just say that they do. I feel as though they are going to be so underhanded and so shisty with the payouts, because let's say you have a $2 million home, right? If someone in California, because I think that that's fair, like maybe the average home might have been $2 million. Would be
I think a lot less than that. I think the average home was probably about $300,000.
$300,000 in LA?
Yeah, it's not just, you got to think, just like it's $300,000 in New York. It's not just, you're not going to every expensive place, Beverly Hills. You're talking about people that lost houses that cost $300,000. Some people cost $800,000. Some people $100,000. Some people $10 million. Let's say the average house, let's say, is $600,000.
In LA?
Yeah.
You think the average house in LA is 600,000? I don't think so. Not that I'm well versed on that. That just wouldn't be the first thing that I would think. But it doesn't matter because this is just a hypothetical that I'm proposing. So to make my math easier, let's just say
$1 million.
Let's just say $1 million, right? If you have $1 million home, it is likely that your worldly possessions of you and your family, between furniture, things that you've collected over your entire life, may be, say, 300,000. If you have $1 million home, you might have $300,000 worth of possessions. I think that the insurance, because when you get insurance, they cover the house and a good amount of your possessions within the home, right?
Depends,
Yes, right? For the most part. I think that they are going to do everything to not pay for those possessions or to pay the very least, to not honor what people think that they're getting by getting insurance. Because all of the proofs of purchase have burnt up in that, all the items, obviously, and the proofs of purchase have burnt up in that fire.
I'm sure.
So the only thing that you're going to be able to fall back on are the proofs of purchase through your credit cards if you got something with a credit card. Aside from that, how do you prove everything that you've ever owned? And it's not going to be insured for you. They're going to make you jump through hoops because they have billions of dollars to pay out. And they're going to cut every corner, find every loophole to not pay these people. So even if they get their houses rebuilt, the amount of money worth of possessions that they are going to lose is going to be so astronomical. And it's so sad. And it defeats the idea of what people think that they're getting when they get insurance.
Well, the thing is if you really think about insurance is a gambling game, right? And when I mean a gambling game, let's say we insure 1 million homes, right? And if I insure 1 million homes, there's not anybody on the checklist that would think 50% of those houses will go down at the same time. Well, 50% of them. There's not a chance that we think 30% will go out at the same time, because in all actuality, it's like this person pays to fix this person's house, this person pays to fix this person's house. But
what do you mean this person pays?
Meaning what you're paying for and all these other people are paying for. If you have, let's say, State Farm, we're paying to help the people in LA insurance. It's not like your money can fix your house. Meaning, if your house burns down and you live in a $5 million house, 9 times out of 10, even if you had your house 30 years, you didn't pay $5 million in insurance. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
Right. So it's a collective of money that insures people's houses. So if out of the, you understand what I'm saying?
Yes and no. There's hundreds of thousands of people that have paid that are not collecting on their insurance.
Right. But
so the fact that I didn't pay $5 million worth of insurance is almost a moot point because y'all have all the money.
But they don't, because they're paying other people's houses that went out. They're paying people's houses that went out in the floods. They're paying people's houses that went out here. They paid people's houses that went out here. But now the problem is when you lose, let's say, 30%.
It's disproportionate.
30% of the houses that go down at once. 30% of the houses go. Think about it. LA is flat. It looks flat in areas. So all those houses had to be paid for at the same time.
That's why I talk about a reserve, because God knows
they have a reserve.
that they've made enough money off of people that rarely or never collect on their insurance over the course of a lifetime. Look how much money we pay in insurance for our house. Our previous house, the house before that, the house before that, the house before that, the house before that. Nothing's ever happened except we had a roof incident, and they did something else I think might have happened with like the fence or something. Minuscule of the probably hundreds of thousands of dollars that we've paid in insurance. We probably collected $13,000 for a roof.
Right.
So yeah, they have a lot of money.
Right, but they're paying out a lot of money.
No, because we're not the only people. It's not just us. That is, I would say, the norm.
Right.
I would say that that's the norm. Most people do not.
But they bank on percentages of the amount of percentages of houses that go under. And they would never think of LA where they lost so many houses at one time. Nobody in their right mind would bank on it. It's kind of like if I insure cars, right? It's also a business. I insure cars, and I'm insuring you because I don't want you to get into an accident, and I want to keep all your money.
Exactly.
That's the plan.
And they have kept all of this money, which
Right,
is why
now-
I think that there should be a reserve in the case of the worst case
But now
scenario.
if 9 cars go down, if 9 cars go down after I insure 10, there's no way I can afford all 9 cars at once.
100 years of taking
Has been 100
people's
years.
money.
Has been 100 years.
How long do you think a State Farm or an Allstate's been around?
I don't know, but
70 years,
they're not paying $100
100
homes.
years.
You're talking about billions of dollars of damage.
They've collected billions and billions of dollars
I
that
don't-
they've never had to pay out on.
I don't think they had it.
I believe, but I don't know what their business model looks like. I don't know if they take that money and they invest that
That's what
money.
they're supposed to do.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Into the stock market.
They
when
put it in the stock
grows.
market, so
That's what
the
they're supposed to
money
do.
may not be readily available, which is why I'm talking
I don't
about.
think they got it either.
Which is why
Yeah.
that's not just checked.
That's
He
what I'm
said
saying.
they don't
There's no way
have
to
it.
have it.
And is it because the money is invested elsewhere? Because that's the nature of many, many businesses, which is why I think that they are going to undercut people and not pay people what they rightfully deserve. And I think that
Yeah, I
a
think they're
lot
gonna
of
do that
people
too.
are going to lose out on their furniture, on their possessions, and they're not going to be made good. And
Yeah,
I think that that is such a shame. Aside from
government's
all
gonna
of
have to help.
the devastation and the heartbreak that they are going through with their loss, to not have what you thought you were paying for over the course of years is just another blow that I
Yeah.
think is going to be the other shoe that drops.
Yeah, the government's gonna have to help them. They're gonna have to bail those insurance companies out. You said what? Government got it. Believe me, when I say the government will pull it up, the government.
Are you
send
kidding me?
200
All the money that we
businesses
send to other
overseas, yeah.
countries
The government's
to say that you don't have it for your own
Or they're
in
gonna
this type of devastation?
Are they gonna print it?
Yeah, no way.
Well, let's
They
get,
have to figure it out.
well, let's get to the email of the week. All right.
If you don't know what to do or think, put it in a letter, just send it. We'll read it in the email of the week. The email of the week.
Here we go.
You don't know what to do or say. Just put it in a letter.
What? This is the email of the week. Hi.
Oh, wait, I wasn't ready. I was still in my pose.
You may proceed.
Okay. Hey, Gia.
You
and
think that was
MV.
funny?
The pose?
Just everything. I thought it was kind of funny right there.
It was funny.
Don't be a jerk.
You're a
Still
jerk.
mad at you.
You're a jerk. 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 Maybe next podcast we'll talk about New Year's resolutions and breaking them already. But
Yeah,
let's get
no,
to the
I didn't
podcast.
break it. I didn't break
I didn't
it.
say you hit
No, you want to?
I wasn't talking
Don't
about you.
play.
I was talking
Don't
about
play with me.
Mercedes.
Don't play with me.
Mercedes. I was
Don't
talking
play
about
with me because
Mercedes.
that's not what happened last night.
Hey, Gia and Envy. I love the podcast. And you guys, period. I love the transparency, the honesty, and advice given. I hope you guys can help me out. So, I wanted to know, should I keep fighting for this marriage? My husband and I have been together for 14 years now, married for 2. We have 1 child together who is 7 years old. He has 2 others from other women that are practically grown. But okay, my issue with my husband is that, for one, he doesn't trust me. He doesn't trust anyone really, but for him not to trust me after all this time, it's annoying. At the beginning, I dealt with it. And I deal with it by downing myself, not hanging out with cousins, going out and stuff. And after a while, I even showered every other day to make myself stink so that he knows I'm not having sex with anyone. That's bullshit. A nigga fuck a ugly chick, a stinky chick. All right. Yes. He said, I don't know. Yes, at the very beginning, I guess me talking to a guy at work was cheating. It wasn't nothing very emotional, or it wasn't nothing very emotional or sexual. It was just a person that I talked with, maybe a little flirtatious, but it was just a person that I could just talk with and laugh with, because my husband then was just too much. He was always looking in my phone, having an issue with everything. He just wasn't like a safe place to just talk what was ever on my mind or whatever it may be. Her writing was a little crazy, by the way. So yes, beginning 1 person, and I learned and never done anything again. I decided
Wait,
that.
what? Beginning 1 person and what?
So yes, beginning 1 person. So she meant in the beginning there was 1 person, but
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to
Paraphrase.
paraphrase. She said, so in the beginning, there was one person and I learned and I never did anything like that again. I decided that, hey, it's either you in or out.
I think she means that she's either in, like, hey, you either in or out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I decided to not just talk with any males, whether it'll be platonic or not. He wasn't innocent. He was still with a lady when he started talking with me, but eventually left her alone. But he was still doing things. But of course, I found out later about it. He did cheat with one of his baby mothers and a person whenever he went back to Wisconsin. Whew. He used to go to Wisconsin often because that is where he was at most of his adulthood. He has friends and his oldest son is there. So I had no issues with him. But anyway, my point is that I never gave him reasons to not trust me. I stopped going out, didn't keep up with myself, didn't shower often. Whenever his friends came over, my head down, and I always leave the room. But I'm not that person, and I'm not sitting around a bunch of guys anyway. I just feel like he was acting the way at the beginning because he was doing stuff for me and was projecting.
Wait,
And
not doing stuff for me. I'm not saying what she wrote, but that's not what she means.
At the beginning because he was doing stuff for me and was projecting.
That doesn't make sense. I think she means.
Oh, now you realize this doesn't
I didn't
make sense?
say it. I didn't say it before. That was acting that way at the beginning because basically he was doing stuff himself and was projecting.
Correct.
Is what she means.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's being this way because he doesn't want to be hurt. He was scared to be hurt. So when we argue, I feel it's because something triggered him, like maybe a friend going through issues with their women, or maybe someone done something to him that he felt was not cool. So then he goes on a tangent about loyalty and trust with me. After all these years, it has become irritating. Now, Nicole, if you
So
listen,
basically she's saying that something will happen with people that he knows and then he'll get triggered and then he'll sit there and badger her and nag her about what they're going through, projecting yet again.
you're pretty good at nigga. I have what? What? I have always been a patient person. Like it takes a lot to get me riled up, but now I just lose it very easily. I can't hit him, so I do throw things. But I try to tell him that he can't speak his mind. I'm sorry, but I try to tell him that he can speak his mind.
I'm sorry, can you just back up 2 sentences? So I was too busy laughing at 3 sentences ago.
I can't hit him, so I do throw things. But I try to tell him that he can speak his mind. Ask me, am I cheating, or if he is suspicious about something I have done or say, he can say whatever. But if I give you an answer, take what I say. Don't keep asking me the same things over and the letter N over again, expecting to get a different answer. Translation.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Like, don't assume. Don't just put things on me when you don't get the answer you think you was going to get. Also, he doesn't listen to me when we talk or slash argue. She wrote slash. She didn't put a slash. She put or slash. Look, slash argue. I want him to really understand me and see things from my point of view and just take accountability for his actions that resulted in my actions. But I don't know if I can or should keep fighting for this marriage because I feel like he has taken me out of character by me losing my temper when that wasn't me. I feel like that if a person gets you out of character, it's not worth it. But there is so much to this marriage. But this is... I'm not laughing at you, man. But it is funny. If you're watching, you're laughing at yourself.
What's the last but?
But this is already too long. But yeah,
no way. I don't believe you. You being
start
funny.
this, but there's so much to this marriage.
But this is already too long. But yeah, I just don't know what to do. We have a son, and I don't know if it'll impact him if I should leave at this tender age of 7. Thank you in advance. Don't say her name.
All right. Well, first and foremost, damn, she just wrote it too. First and foremost,
She wrote what?
No. I wanted to see when it came in. First and foremost, I will tell you, please download ChatGPT in your phone. They're laughing, but I'm serious. ChatGPT is free. If you have an iPhone,
Is it free?
yeah, it is.
I thought you had to pay.
For this, it's free. So what you do is you download ChatGPT. And
I can't stand you.
all that you write in
I can't stand
ChatGPT,
you.
all that, you write it in ChatGPT, just like that. You could copy and paste. You put it in ChatGPT and you press space and then you write rewrite. And it'll rewrite and put everything in perfect terms, no problem. And if it's too proper, you put rewrite, sound more black, and then it'll put slang words. I swear.
He's not kidding.
I swear.
That's actually a feature.
I swear. So if I'm ever sending out,
and the way that it dumbs it down is offensive.
Yeah. So
you're not offended when that happens?
I mean, I don't write that, but
they'll throw an ain't in there in a second.
Yeah. So the reason I'm saying that is if I ever have to send an email out or something like that, I run it through ChatGPT just in case, because it fixes things that you might not be able to catch. But that doesn't mean you just go through them, but you should go through ChatGPT. Now, now your problem, mama. First and foremost, I don't want to be disrespectful, but your grammar is crazy.
You just covered that.
No. But this,
say it as you think it. We don't censor.
You got to read. You have to read, because this for an adult is very, very bad. And I'm not trying to dish you. I'm just trying to be honest with you, right? This we need some help with, because the way that you wrote this is pretty bad. And you're going to need as much help as possible. And if you email me again, I'll send you some books where you can just get up on your reading. I'll send you some of our books. I'll send you Charlemagne's books. I'll send you everybody's books that come to the station, because we need to help as a community.
This is not what she wrote in about.
I know, but
understood what she meant.
Barely.
You understood what she meant.
No, barely. And I'm not trying
to help her with. Let's just talk about her issue.
And I'm just,
we don't need any
I'm really being honest, and I'm not joking.
I know you're not joking,
because I if I was like that, I would want you guys to help me. Second of all,
you are like that sometimes.
That's why I use ChatGPT. Tell you a funny story before I tell you what your stuff, right?
He's speaking from the place of relatability.
When ChatGPT first came out, right, I would use ChatGPT for everything. If I'm sending text, everything. He came up to me and was like, "What's gotten into you recently?" Like, it's like, do you have a lawyer friend or something like that? Because you're speaking so, you're like, your words are eloquent and this, that, and the other, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, yeah, bitch, ChatGPT. And she didn't know. She was the only one that didn't know. The kids would laugh. Me and Madison would laugh because we would go through ChatGPT. And with ChatGPT, you could say, hey, it's sunny outside, right? You can put it in ChatGPT and then put elaborate. And then it'd be like, hey, it's sunny outside. The sun is shining so bright. It feels like 78 degrees when the wind of the warmth touches your... It does everything for you. But then she recently found out what it was.
No. But true story. I feel like ChatGPT has become your best friend, not just because I feel like you're learning from Chat. Your vocabulary. The other day he said something was reprehensible. I said, what a bleep you've been hanging out with. Spell reprehensible. Like, what are you talking about?
I gotta go to ChatGPT to spell it.
Like, don't you come in here brand new, because all of a sudden you're brand new. And I'm like, I think that it's literally been teaching you.
Maybe it has.
Vocabulary. But he would text me in ChatGPT where I'm like, oh, this was lovely. Like, what's going on here?
And fellas, you ever argue with your girl? You can put in there like, how to apologize for saying this. And ChatGPT be like, bang, 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 bang.
And he's literally said, okay, that must be a true story, because that's what I'm talking about. Like, wow, this is lovely.
Yeah.
And this taps into exactly how I feel on the inside. So, yeah.
But now back to the problem. I don't even know what the fucking problem was. Oh, I got it. Yeah. So all right. So both of you guys in a relationship have cheated, right? He's cheated worse than you have.
Wait.
She said
she didn't cheat. She
was flirtatious.
She might have had an inappropriate, I don't know if I'd call it relationship, but
yeah, that's kind of cheating. People can look at that as cheating.
Is that child?
Yeah, I think so. If you're flirtatious and you're telling a guy something,
that's not cheating. That's behavior unbecoming.
All right, inappropriate. So he is
inappropriate or behavior unbecoming. Right. It's not cheating.
So he's cheated on you before, and you should never be in a situation where you have to feel like you have to dumb down yourself to prove something to somebody else, right? not taking a shower every day and stinky, that's just disgusting. Like, you shouldn't do that. Your pH balance is off. It probably smells down there. You need to start eating pineapples immediately. But I would say this. I would say that he's probably being like that because he's insecure with the things that he's done.
Yeah.
Meaning he cheated on you, he got caught, and now he feels like everything that you do he feels guilty. He feels insecure. And that's his problem. That's not your problem. And you shouldn't be.
Elaborate on that, though.
That's his problem. I mean,
talk about how.
She's out like ChatGPT. Elaborate on that. Enter. Okay.
That's just how I speak on a regular basis. Talk about how that plays out and how you would think that would play out in a man's mind.
Well, if he's cheating or he cheated in the past, anything that his girl or wife does, he looks back at things that he might have said, things that he might have done. If you're staying out late and maybe you are working, he might be thinking back to a past where he stayed out late and was fucking something. So everything that he does, he basically looks at his life the same way. You should never have to change who you are as a person, especially if you're doing things the right way. Not looking at people's eyes, not showering, all those things shows me that you're with a guy that is too damn demanding, that is trying to control you and ruin your life. You don't need that, and you need to nip that in the bud now. If he has a problem with how he is, he needs to get help. He needs to go get some type of counseling. But I wouldn't change who you are. I wouldn't say, all right, I'm just going to stop eating and not be in the gym. I want to be fat. I want to be stinky. I don't want nobody to look at me. No, fuck that. Like, we're in this life for a short time. You're beautiful and you should be beautiful. Fuck the way that he thinks. You're not doing anything wrong. Now, if you were out cheating, if you were out fucking dudes, if you were out doing all those things as a married woman and cheating, then I would say things change. But from this email, you said you're not. And if you're not, you shouldn't change who you are. You should tell them, hey, there's a problem. There's a situation. I don't feel comfortable. I'm not doing this anymore. You should look as beautiful as possible. And you should do it for yourself. Take a shower. Shave under your arms. Shave your coochie. Put on some smell good. Put on some fly clothes. And you go out with your girls if you have girls. If you don't go out, if you don't have girls, go out by yourself. You don't got to go to a club. Go get your nails done. Go get your hair done. Do things for yourself. Go get a massage. You have to feel special. But don't let him take you down and make you feel like you're not what you are. And if he has a problem, give him the middle finger.
I wonder what the consequence is.
I don't know. She doesn't seem as scared of him because she says she's wanted to hit him and threw things at him. And if she was scared of him, she wouldn't have said that.
Yeah. So one of the things that occurs to me while I'm listening to you read the email is, so if you didn't do all of these things that you're doing in response to his insecurity and his projection, what would happen? Would it just be arguments?
Mm-hmm.
Would it be, because it also sounds like he just nags her, and women get a bad rep for being nags, but I've come across some men that are nags where it's like you just beat a dead horse over and over and over again, and where your insecurities play such a role in your life where you just put it out there to a point where someone views you as insufferable. And that's what it sounds like he is, just absolutely insufferable, where she just feels as though she'd rather exist in the state that she describes than take his emotional badgering. And that's not a way to live. That's not a way to live. Seems like she wants to leave, but she's saying that she's concerned about the effect that it'll have on her 7-year-old son. I'm wondering if that's the only thing that's making her want to stay or consider staying. There's probably still an emotional attachment, still a love there. Because would you agree that there has to be some type of emotional attachment to make her want to take the steps that she's taken in an effort to deal with it, to sit there and suffer through that and go through all of these motions and not shower and not be able to look at yourself in the mirror?
She loves him. She wants it to work.
She wants it to work.
She loves him. Yeah, she wants it to work. She wants a family, but she's worried about his feelings more than her own.
So as a man, what do you think would actually work?
Her changing. And the reason I say her changing is if you allow me to not necessarily humiliate you, but if you allow me to down you, I'm going to down you more.
But he's not downing her.
He's controlling her.
He's controlling
He's
her.
controlling. And that's downing too. If she can't look somebody in the eye, that's not uplifting his wife. That's downing her.
Well, not that she can't look him in the eye. She can't look his friends in the eye.
Yeah, that's
because she doesn't want him to accuse her of flirting with them or trying to
he's downing her.
appear sexy to them.
If she's not taking a shower and being stinky, like he knows that he can smell her. He can smell his girl.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it is what it is. Like, yes, she has to change her and be confident and be secure in who she is as a person.
And what do you think is the first step of that?
Take a shower.
After she takes the shower with Sean.
Shave.
After she shaves with Sean.
Start looking people in the eye.
Okay.
She has to do all the things that
so you're saying baby steps.
Baby steps, yes. She has to change herself to getting to where she needs to be. And then I guarantee when she starts doing that, he's going to notice a change and want to start having conversations of why and what's going on.
So he's probably going to take... okay, so what I think you're not foreseeing, right, is once she starts this huge change, now she's getting her hair done, she's getting her nails done, she's taking care of her hygiene, she's doing all of the things, right? He is certainly, I would bet a whole lot on it, he's certainly going to think that she's doing those things because now it's a 360 from how you've been for an extended period of time, right? Now you're doing all these things because you've got a new man to do it for. Explain yourself. You're about to yeet her into the danger zone.
No, but she could be secure in herself. Like, no. I don't have a
So that's not the first step. And that's why I'm trying to break down, like, what does this actually look like within their household?
So what's the first step?
He might try to manipulate this as well, but I think that this is a better approach. I think that she should sit him down and maybe she should show him the episode of this podcast once it airs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
When she sits him down, should she take a shower before?
No, we're not going to change any of our previous behavior, right? We want to approach him on an even keel and we don't want to set up any red flags or signaling alarms, right? So I think she needs to sit him down and I think she needs to tell him how she is taking in their interaction, what he projects upon her and how she's been responding. And she needs to let him know what that's doing to her psyche, what it's doing to her as a person, and what it's doing to her specifically as a woman. And that she can't live her life trying to prove to him that she's being unfaithful or living in a way that she shouldn't as a married woman. And it seems as though he's probably always going back to the one time that she misstepped. It wasn't like a jump. It was just like a little steppy poo, right? He probably always goes back to that. But let me ask you a question. And this is the woman part. This is like how I take this in as a woman. Why doesn't he have to do all of this based upon the fact that he cheated with, what was it? His baby mama, the girl from Wisconsin. Was there somebody else?
I'm not sure, but
it was his baby mama. And the girl from Wisconsin. I feel like there was a third. I could be mistaken. But why isn't he sitting home showering?
Right.
Not showering. Why is he not looking their family and friends?
Because he probably said it was her fault. And she was the reason why he cheated, I'm sure.
Regardless, why is he not taking, why is it always, not always, but oftentimes the women that are lessening ourselves to accommodate the egos of men? I don't get it. Why is he not suffering in the same way? And it's because a lot of times women don't assert themselves and aren't living in their power. And not that you would want to use that power, not that you would want to use that power to humiliate someone or affect them to lessen themselves. Absolutely not. But I'm a very big, what's good for the goose is good for the gander type of person. I'm not going to sit here in my innocence, and because of your insecurity and thinking that I've cheated, I'm going to demean myself as a human being. But you, who we both know has cheated, you get to just live your best life without any fear of how I'm perceiving you, or without the threat of me nagging you or badgering you or anything. Like, no. We got to bring this thing nice and even, and we have to have a conversation. And I know we say a conversation all the time, but that's always where it starts. It always starts with a meeting of the minds, a communication. And a communication isn't enough. Like, it has to be the type of communication where you force somebody to understand your point of view and what is true and actual to you. And that's the type of conversation that you have to have, an effective conversation with this man. And you're going to tell him that you are not going to live this life anymore, and that you are going to start taking care of yourself. You are going to start going out and seeing your friends and family again. And if he takes that as a sign of cheating, then so be it. Then we don't need to be together, because I'm disgusted with what you've done in your past. But guess what? I've forgiven you and I've moved on, and I don't throw it in your face every 2 seconds. If you can't look at me and do the same, then we are not for each other anymore. And your 7-year-old will survive. I promise you.
Well, good luck, and let us know how that works. I think Gia gave the perfect advice. Try that. And if that doesn't work, let him watch the podcast where we discuss it and talk about it if you feel uncomfortable talking about it. But I would definitely try that. Try to have a conversation, and
you can't live like that
out there. That's right.
You can't live like that for the rest of your life, because this is like a lens into what your future is going to look like. It's not going to change, because a person will only do what you allow them to do. And time again, I've seen proof and evidence and proof of when a person puts their foot down and says no more and actually means it. That's the caveat, and actually means it. The person has no choice but to shape up or ship out. But you have to mean it. If you don't mean it, you don't realize it, but they see right through it. They see right through it. And the same misbehavior is going to carry on and on and on. So you have to mean it. And I think if you do, so I guess the answer to my question is, get right with yourself first. Understand you. Have a meeting of the minds with you and determine what you're going to accept versus what you're not going to accept first. Before you ever show him this podcast, before you ever sit him down, you have to be strong and secure in where you stand in your relationship and what you are actually willing to do as a consequence. Because if you're not, he'll see right through you. All
right. Well, good luck, and keep us abreast of everything that's going on. And again, if you want to email us, you can, thekcrew@gmail.com. That's THEEKCrew@gmail.com. Reminding you guys, make sure you pre-order our book, Real Life, Real Family. We talk about family, raising our kids and all that good stuff. So if you have kids and you want them understand how we do our kids and how our family is such a close-knit family, definitely pre-order the book. And also, I want to salute to our sponsor, Azuna. AzunaFresh.com. Head up to the website. If you're looking for products from household clean, matter of fact, let's go to the commercial. Bing. What up, y'all? It's DJ Envy. Are you a dad like me? You take your kids everywhere. You feel like a Lyft or Uber driver, and they use your car for everything, even changing. And sometimes your car might smell a little crazy. When I'm talking change, I'm talking about cleats. I'm talking jerseys. I'm talking food. I'm talking tap shoes. Well, if you want your car to smell clean, use Azuna. Now, Azuna Odor Freshener will not just make your car smell clean, it fights the problem. It gets to the root of everything. And you ain't got to worry about it wasting after time, because they have refills as well. Hello. So make sure you check out Azuna. Go to Azuna Fresh on Instagram or Amazon and order your Azuna now. Again, salute to our friends at Azuna. All right. We'll see you guys next week. I'm DJ Envy.
And I am Gia Casey.
And that was another edition of the KC Crew.
Toodles.